again, and welcome back to 10 Past Tarot. These are general readings. They are for someone out there. Spirit wants to speak with someone. Is it you? I don't know. Listen for a few minutes. If it sounds like your reading, then it is. And we just had this card earlier this week. And it is the drum. And when I see the drum, I think of spiritual connections. I think of rhythm. I think of the flow, the rhythm of life. And so let's see where Spirit is going with this one. I'm not sure. And two cards came out of the deck. The first is the Five of Pentacles. And maybe this is reminding us that both good times and bad times are part of life's rhythms. We all meet on hard times. We all have difficulty with certain things in our lives. But the card that follows that is the World. And so when I see this with this, I think that perhaps Spirit is trying to make us realize that we are going through hard times right now, but that is not our entirety. Our world is our entire life. And so if we can get through this difficult period, things will get better. Or at least that is what is being indicated so far. Let me continue, and we'll see where this takes us. Ooh, two cards jumped out immediately. The first one is the Six of Pentacles. That is give and take in life. Again, that ebb and flow. You put things out, they come back to you. Now we could look at that in a couple different ways. We could be putting things out emotionally and it will bounce right back to us. It could be a warning. Be careful what we put out there. Or on the other hand, we could be giving to someone and that would then come back to us as well. And maybe that is life in general again, that rhythm of life where things flow out, the tide pulls. You see, I'm trying to think from your view. The tide pulls back and then it comes toward us again and it pulls back over and over forever and ever, as long as the history of the earth is here. As long as the earth exists. The next is another somewhat unstable card. Just like the beginning five, we have another five. And this is the Five of Cups, the five of emotion. And he is thinking that he has spent too much emotion on something. And I'm wondering if it is mourning this, whatever this is, whether it was illness, financial loss, something that set you back. That is what this card represents. And he is looking back on that, but there is another path beyond. You can see a bridge. There is a seahorse in the sky, in the starlight, and that is saying that there is hope with moving forward. And so this isn't a real upbeat message so far. Let's see what else Spirit has to say. Do you have anything else for us, Spirit? This isn't a terrible reading. It is saying there is some hardship right now. It's not going to resolve immediately. It may get better a little at a time, but It is one period in your entire life cycle. We had that in the last reading. That's a repeat card also. We've got the Nine of Wands, and there a troll is guarding his dreams, as though he's afraid to let anyone near them, afraid to let them near anyone else. He's hoarding his dreams. And then another card came out, the Five of Cups. Now we have 3 fives. And this shows a monk in a feathered robe. It has raven feathers, and he is looking out at a castle. He has spilled some of his cup, some of his cups, some of his life force. He is wasted, and there's a bleakness in that. He sees that he has wasted his energy. There is still hope. There are still cups there, but you can see that he's looking out into a future that he wants, but he has already lost time. He has. And what I'm wondering, I'm seeing a bridge in both this Five of Cups and this Five of Cups. That's interesting. We've got 2. We have 2 together from different decks, same cards. One is looking toward the castle in the distance, and one is looking away. The more recent one is looking toward the castle. So maybe they're starting to see hope. Maybe they're starting to realize, yes, I've lost time. Yes, I've lost some of that impetus, some of that forward motion. But I now have the feathers and the intelligence, the experience gained from all of this of a crow or a raven, and I can use that to reach my dreams. Maybe you're still blocking your dreams with that troll energy. And this looks like, I don't want to end like this, Spirit. I don't want to end on this note, because right now in this, if we're going anywhere, it's not very quickly at all. We seem to keep going in the same circle. We're walking in circles over and over again. And that's what this seems to indicate. And yet you have that World card in there. I don't think it would be in there were it not possible. I'm going to ask for a couple cards. How can we get to that World card? We've been having some hard times. Some of those were imposed on us. Some of those we've been imposing on ourselves. We felt defeated, and that feeling of defeat kind of seeped into everything. Spirit gave us 2 more cards from a different deck. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Now the Wheel of Fortune can be an auspicious card because we don't know what it's going to land on. It could land on the next great thing, and then we're saved from this energy. However, it could land on something we don't particularly care for. And then we have to decide, do we want to spin again? Or do we want to trust that this thing that didn't quite agree with us was actually helping us to be stronger, to attain more, to attain the sun. The sun is much like the world card. It's the everything. And so this is a possibility if we go with the flow. So let me look at this again, because I'm thinking that maybe we've been trying to force things into our ways of thinking. And obviously the way we've been approaching it has not been helpful. And when that happens, we're going to have to look at other options. If what we've been doing has gotten us nowhere, except we still feel trapped, we still feel inhibited, we still feel that our dreams can't come true, that there is no chance of them coming through, then we have to take a chance and go in a different direction. I think if this was me, I would accept that something's coming my way that may not initially seem positive, but if I write it through, it's going to lead me towards something better. And I'm looking again at that drum image. That can be spiritual connection. It can be rhythm. It could indicate music, creativity for some of us. Maybe that creativity we have been inhibiting, and that is why we are blocking our dreams, because we are by nature creative. Not everyone is. Everyone has some creativity, but there are some people that without a way to express that, they basically sort of dry up. They don't go anywhere. They fall into a depression. Things have been hard. I see that here. I also see that there is true hope. Here we had that initial comparison. This is what's possible. This is the way you're seeing the world now. And to get there, we're going to have to trust in spirit. We're going to have to be willing to, I won't say change our outlook, so to speak, but change our approach to things. Change these things we're imposing upon ourselves. There seems to be a system of beliefs here that is keeping us totally locked and blocked. I'm thinking of writer's block, can't go anywhere, nothing seems to happen, but that isn't the way it has to be. Your song, you are creating your song, your emotions, your attitudes, your movements are creating the rhythm of your own life. And so we don't want to create a rhythm of non-motion. Without motion, there's no sound. And then we go nowhere. The song goes nowhere. And that is all Spirit has for you today. I really, really hope that this helps someone. It's not a harsh message, although it may seem that way, because there is bleakness here, but it's self-imposed bleakness that just requires a change. And I know that's easier said than done. Anytime we are asked to change, it can be a battle. It can for everyone. And that's all for today. If this wasn't your message, look at other readings, look at the titles, see if they resonate with you, and then maybe maybe your message is in one of those videos. Bye for now.